Today we're putting a heater in a 800 Polaris. I think it's a 2011 XP. What we've got here is a JAGS, I think it's a hot rod heater. This says marine heater on it. I think they all do. But the vent kit is a, there's the part number there, for the 28,000 BTU heater, which is what this is. We went ahead and already installed the heater. You're going to have to take about 1.5 inches out of that secondary battery box, cut down around it so it'll sit in far enough to clear so that the outlets can clear that support. Then go ahead and put your brackets on. I just got it mounted with one screw back in there, if you can see it. It's kind of hard to see. And then just one screw on this side. I went ahead and cut the bracket. You can use a Sawzall or whatever you have, just so it's secure. Now I went ahead and already wired it up. You will have to install one of your own wires that are not included with the kit, the supply wire, which goes to that top stud there where that red wire is coming out. That's your switched wire, so when you turn the key on, the heater will come on if the switch is on. When you shut the vehicle off, the heater will shut off on its own, so you don't have to worry about it draining the battery. So use that wire. Go ahead and put a fuse in. If you feel like it, it's always safer too in case you rub a wire through. So go ahead and do that. From there, I've already installed the ducting kit. I installed 2 up on top for a defrost. I usually go out of the heater into a Y and then into those 2 ducts, and then out of the other outlet I usually put 1 vent in for the floor heat. You only get 2 vents in that box, so you'll have to order 2 vent kits to get enough vents to do it. So aside from that, the next thing we got to do is plumb it in. There's your inlet and outlet. Inlet on bottom, outlet on top. You can go vice versa, but to bleed the air out best, it's best to go in with your coolant on the bottom, out on top, so you can bleed the air out. You will need that thermostat adapter right there with the longer bolts and the O-ring, and then you'll need a 5/8 into 1-inch T or Y fitting. You can usually get those at your Polaris dealer. They may have to order them special. They're about, I think about $85 for the adapter, thermostat adapter, another $15 for the T fitting. You can improvise on the T fitting and just build it out of galvanized or brass, hard plumbing, pipe nipples and hose barbs, if you can't seem to find the proper T. Thermostat adapter you really can't skimp on. There are a few people that they try to tee into the upper and lower radiator hoses, and that is just not the correct way to do it. You're not going to get consistent heat. You're not going to get real warm heat. It's kind of the half-ass way around it. The best way to do it is to put that thermostat adapter on the engine there. That way you're constantly circulating coolant through that heater. As soon as that engine has any warm coolant, it's going to be headed towards that heater and it will just keep circulating. I do not install a shut-off valve on this system. I just don't think it's necessary. So what we will need to do is cut this lower radiator hose. That goes into the, you can see it there, it goes into the lower part of the engine. That's what's going to complete the loop. It's going to come out at the thermostat adapter when we get that on. Go to the heater and then back down where we'll put the T, and then back into our engine. So we'll go ahead and get that done, and I will kind of give you an overview of what it looks like when it's done. We will go ahead and run the hoses through here, get them all tidied up so you can see how it should look. Okay, here we are pretty close to the finished product. I forgot to mention in the last portion there, you're going to have to cut a little notch right by that upper radiator hose so you can get the 2 radiator hose through there. And they're going to snake down around the upper radiator hose, follow that down. Do a good job of zip tying to the lower radiator hose and around the bend there. You don't want it contacting either the sway arm, or I'm sorry, the A-arm on the bottom, or the tie rod boot. So, you know, just be cautious. Do a good job of tying everything up. Might save you a breakdown later, or a ruined engine, or something worse. When you're plumbing this, you can see why a Y fitting would be optimal. Instead of trying to loop that hose around and not kink it, you can kind of go more of a straight angle back with the line. But a T works fine. You just got to do a good job of tying it and cutting the hose to the correct length. Just watch out for any rub points, you know, back in there or on this prop shaft. You don't want your new hoses rubbing on anything. And here's the thermostat adapter. Kind of hard to see there. Got it installed. There's a bleed screw. You can kind of see it there with that brass washer on it. I've already got that loose, and there's already a little coolant weeping out of there. You can barely see because I just refilled the radiator. You want to make sure you bleed this head out, and that is the best way to do it. There is a bleed screw right there, that kind of brass colored screw. I've never been able to get one out, and I'm not going to break one off trying to get it out of there. Just go ahead and loosen that screw, start it up, make sure you got all the air out of there, and then snug that back down. The whole time keep the radiator full, keep the cap off, and I keep that top hose off because we're trying to bleed the air out. Remember, this is the pressure hose from the thermostat housing. That's going to go on the bottom. The coolant's going to go through the core and out the top, and that's going to be the best way to get the air out. So leave this hose off till you get it started, and we'll go ahead and start bleeding this thing out. So everything's running, the radiator is full. I already had water coming out of the upper core here. See that? That's about what you're going to get. I was just trying to fill that hose up, get the air out of it before I slip this on. There we go. That's about as good as it's going to get. And then you're going to go ahead and clamp everything down here. You can see I lost a little of my water there because I bled some more air out. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten that. I already bled it out of the thermostat housing. We're going to tighten it down, refill everything, go run it, make sure everything works, recheck our water level, make sure everything, make sure the engine's cycling properly, not overheating, running at the normal temperatures, and recheck your water level for the next 2, 3, 4 rides, and make sure that we didn't have an air pocket in here somewhere that we didn't get flushed out. But after that, we should be able to put this back together and see how it's working.